Everybody, welcome to Faces and Heels, your pro wrestling podcast here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the recap and reaction of WWE's new premium live event, Payback, which dropped on Peacock this Saturday, September the 2nd. And this premium live event was kind of overshadowed by a couple of things. It was overshadowed, of course, by the untimely passing of Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt, a couple of weeks ago. It was overshadowed by the news that broke Saturday morning from the competition from WWE's rival company AEW when they fired CM Punk, and that just sucked all of the news and excitement of this premium live event out of the air. Even though, to be completely fair and honest, this wasn't a big premium live event. This isn't Roman Reigns is not on this show. There's no Cody Rhodes match per se. This was just a show. And to be honest with you, you have a lot of championships. You have the Undisputed Tag Team Championships, the Women's World Championship, the Universal, not Universal, the United States Championship, and the Heavyweight Championship on the line in these matches, in these 6 matches that's on the card. But, you know, it is no big fight feel leading up to this pay-per-view, to put it kindly. But it is a pay-per-view nonetheless, or a premium live event, should I say. And despite all that news, you know, especially the CM Punk aspect of it all, because that has nothing to do with WWE, but it completely took over Twitter today on Saturday. It was a big news, even though it shouldn't have come as a shock, to be honest with you. I wasn't shocked by it. The only thing was, it was just the timing of it, because AEW has a Collision tonight, you know, their weekly show on Saturdays in Chicago. So it's kind of funny that they fired not only the biggest name in the entire company, but do it the night or the day before they go into his hometown for a show. Is gonna, if it wasn't for Payback, I would have watched Collision, and I don't even watch AEW like that, but I would have watched it just to see the reaction. I'm pretty sure I can go back on Twitter and go through the videos and see how it all turned out, but it would have been fun to watch it live. But we do have 6 matches for Payback, and it's a nice card. It's a real nice card. You have Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus in a steel cage match. You have Steel City Street Fight for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship, should I say. But those champions are Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, putting up those championships against the Judgment Day, which consists of Finn Balor and Damian Priest. In the third match, the Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley is putting up her championship against Raquel Rodriguez. The WWE United States Champion Rey Mysterio puts his championship on the line against Austin Theory in a rematch. We have a singles match between L.A. Knight, against The Miz. And in the main event, you have the World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins putting his title on the line against Shinsuke Nakamura. And so there were some interesting matches on this card. Different, very different. Breaking it down before we get into the recap of the matches, you know, leading up to the match between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, this has been a rivalry that has gone on, it feels like forever, but ever since WrestleMania, this has been a rivalry. And They were supposed to have their match at SummerSlam, but it was taken off the card because of time, I believe. And so much has been going on. The inclusion of Zoe Starks, who is becoming one of my favorites because I followed her in NXT, but she has really stepped to the plate on the main roster, teaming up with Trish Stratus and being her protege and taking on Becky Lynch and giving it to her. It's been an exciting rivalry, but I think it's ran its course, and it's time to put that baby to bed. Also, the women's world championship. This is a match that I probably would have put on one of the big pay-per-views or premium live events. I wouldn't have put this on Payback. Yeah, this is a match that I've been dying to see. These two women who are above average in size, muscular women. And I say that in the most flattering way because they're both beautiful women, but they are, compared to the rest of the women's roster, towering over everybody else. And I would love to have seen that in a WrestleMania match or even a SummerSlam or a Survivor Series, one of the big premium live events. But whatever. You also have the added caveat of John Cena returning tonight to host Payback, and I guess that's because of the actor strike, and he's not working on any movies right now. So he needs something to do, and I'm all for it. I've grown to love John Cena, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of his. I always loved him on the mic, but his wrestling, it was not something that I seeked out. But I do enjoy me some John Cena for some strange reason. Payback was live in Pittsburgh at the PPG Paint Arena, and let's jump into our first match of the night. The steel cage match between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. And I'll tell you, leading up into this, with the video package, it got me hyped. Even though I wasn't initially hyped for this match, that video package was really, really well done. I enjoyed that. But not as much as I enjoyed this match. This match was awesome. This is how you kick off a premium live event. Wow. Those young ladies put on a clinic. That's how you do a steel cage match. I must say, Trish Stratus hasn't missed a beat. That woman has impressed me so much since her return, since this run. Proving that it's not a novelty thing. This isn't a nostalgia thing. She is there to play. And you can't help but be impressed by her performances week to week, man. Really, really enjoyed her in this match. Along with Becky Lynch, her partner in the ring. They put on a clinic. The near falls, the finishers, the homages, the Widow's Peak being used, the twist of fate being used, the suplex off the top rope and off of the steel cage, the power bombs, the the manhandle slams off of the top rope. It was just amazing, very exciting, well paced. Even though unless you was born out of a rock, you knew Zoe Stark was going to be interfering in this match. But even with that, it still worked. It still worked. Ultimately, Becky Lynch defeats Trish Stratus via pinfall and comes out victorious in this match. We had the post-match breakup between Trish Stratus and Zoe Starks, where Zoe Starks hit Trish Stratus with her finisher, taking off the "Thank You Trish" shirt and throwing it at her. I thought that was a nice touch as well. This match was 20 minutes long, and it could have went on another 20 minutes. I was on the edge of my seat. I really enjoyed this match. Once again, the steel cage match between Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch, where we saw Becky Lynch defeat Trish Stratus, gets 4 stars. I thought it was an awesome match to open up this premium live event. Moving on to match number 2 of Payback, which began with John Cena coming out, our host of Payback, announcing that he was going to be the special guest referee for the singles match between L.A. Knight and The Miz. And I thought that was a perfect little mix for this. Added little caveat. I make it no secret that I am a huge LA Knight fan, just like everybody else. I'm a huge LA Knight fan, and I want him to get the push that he deserves. And going up against the Miz is kind of, but putting a little hot sauce on it helps. And what better hot sauce is there than John Cena? And so this was the second match of the night, and this was kind of a dead one. this one did not deliver for me. Even though I'm a fan of everybody involved, I'm even a fan of The Miz, believe it or not. I like The Miz. Whatever WWE asks The Miz to do, he does it, and he does it well. He's just there for feuds, filler feuds, and he does a good job with them. And for the most part, I was excited, the lead up to this match, the build up between LA Knight and The Miz on Raw and SmackDown, and them going back and forth, The Miz dressing up as LA Knight on Raw and impersonating them. All that was good. The incorporation of John Cena, okay, cool. The match was just dead. It was boring. It was just a boring match. There's really nothing to say. There's nothing to say about this match. It was just a match. They could have had this fight on Raw. That's how bleh this was. It wasn't bad, and it wasn't good. It was just there. John Cena, it was wasted. He didn't AA anybody, so it was like, okay, well, they could have had anybody as the ref. He was just there to be there. It was a whatever match. The singles match between LA Knight and The Miz with John Cena as the special guest referee, where we saw LA Knight come out victorious, gets 2.5 stars. It was whatever, man. It was 15, almost 16 minutes long, and it felt longer. This match felt longer than the cage match with Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, and that match was 20 minutes. But this match felt long because it was boring, and the crowd was dead. They were trying to get into it, but it was like, you basically had the same reaction I had sitting here watching it. So whatever. Yeah, 2.5 stars. I'm not really disappointed because I wasn't really expecting much from it, but I want LA Knight to get a push, and this ain't helping. This kind of match is not helping at all. So that's our second match of Payback. Moving on to our third match on Payback, and it's for the WWE United States Championship, where the champion Rey Mysterio defends that championship against Austin Theory in a rematch for said championship that Austin Theory lost a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown in kind of a weird fashion. This was a match that it was supposed to be Santos Escobar, but he got attacked and Rey Mysterio filled in, and it didn't make sense. I will just put it plainly. It didn't make sense to me, but Cool. Rey Mysterio became the champion. And I thought that they were going to go somewhere else with Austin Theory, which they probably still could. But uh, I, I don't know. Austin Theory kind of lost some steam. It looks like he was gaining momentum leading up to WrestleMania when he took on John Cena, nonetheless. But after that match, he kind of fell to the wayside, so to speak. So here we are for the rematch against Rey Mysterio, and yet another whatever match. This match was 10 minutes long, and it, it had no fire. It had no excitement to it. At no point did I think Austin Theory had a shot to win this match. It just did not. I didn't feel it at no point. And at no point did I feel that Rey Mysterio was even dominant. That's how crazy it was. It was just a whatever. It doesn't help either one of these fellas. Uh, at least in the LA Knight match, it did kind of propel LA Knight. It did give him a victory to whereas he can move on to something new. Here, it really feels like you're burying Austin Theory. And Rey Mysterio is a Hall of Famer. He didn't need to win. He he don't need this. But you're burying Austin Theory. And I don't know where they're going with that. I don't know. Kind of disappointing in a way. Even though once again wasn't looking for much out of this match, but I was looking for something. And it was whatever. The WWE United States Championship match where Rey Mysterio retains the United States Championship by defeating Austin Theory via pinfall, gets 2.5 stars. Another match on this card. And we're 3 matches in, and only one of them was worth any attention, and that was the very first one. So Payback needed to really put their foot on the gas and put it on the gas really quick, because it was looking bad at this point. And so we're moving on to our 4th match of the night, and it was the Steel City Street Fight for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, where the champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defend those championships against the Judgment Day, consisted of Finn Balor and Mr. Money in the Bank, Damian Priest. And this was awesome. I agree with the crowd. This was awesome. What a match. Pittsburgh Steel City Street Fight, and it was that. This had everything. This had everything you would expect from a street fight. Judgment Day. Let me touch in on Judgment Day. Judgment Day, when it first came to be, when Edge formed Judgment Day, I was kind of like, well, this isn't going to last long. This wasn't going to go anywhere. Even when they kicked out Edge after Finn Balor came in, I was like, I'm just not feeling Judgment Day. It's just something about it. Even though I liked every single person in Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and even Dirty Dom himself. I enjoy each and every one of them, but it wasn't working. And a few months ago, I don't know what it was, but something clicked. And when it clicked, it was off and running. I started to get into it more. Dominic Mysterio, who I felt they should have just sent down to NXT after teaming with his father. I was like, well, this isn't going nowhere with Dominic. When he joined the Judgment Day, he became like the biggest heel in wrestling all of a sudden. You just love to boo him, and he fully embraces it and really plays that character perfectly. And I love Judgment Day. I mean, what can you say about Rhea Ripley? Rhea Ripley is probably one of the best women's wrestlers period. Not just in WWE. I'm talking women wrestling, period. AEW, Impact, New Japan, I don't care. She is one of the best currently working in wrestling. And this group has become just a mainstay in WWE. You have Damian Priest winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. You got Finn Balor, uh, who is one of the best workers in the business. But something is missing. Something is missing from the group. Rhea Ripley has her women's championship, world championship. Damian Priest has the Mr. Money in the Bank briefcase. Even Dominic Mysterio, he's the North American champion on NXT. Everybody has a championship other than Finn Balor. So everybody is got something to push them forward, but it was just still something missing. And this undisputed tag team championship was like the icing on the cake. That would just catapult this faction to the atmosphere. And look, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, it was a great story at WrestleMania, beating the Usos. Beautiful, emotional, all that. But for the past couple of months, it's kind of lost steam. Granted, Kevin Owens has been hurt. I don't know, the last 2 months maybe. He hasn't really wrestled, and they haven't really defended those championships lately. But it lost a little steam before that anyway. So it was time for them to lose those belts, I think. What a match, though. What a match. This was a street fight to the nth degree. Implementing the chairs, the tables, the kendo sticks, garbage cans, Kevin Owens doing senton bombs in the crowd onto Dominic Mysterio, swanton bombs, I meant to say, on just complete havoc. Rhea Ripley spearing Kevin Owens through the barricade. You have JD Madonna coming out and interfering in the match. Dominic Mysterio interfering in the match, hitting Sami Zayn with the briefcase, which led to the 1-2-3 Finn Balor pinning Sami Zayn. And this was an exciting match. I enjoyed it. Once again, as I repeated 50 times throughout this recap, wasn't really expecting much out of this match, but this one shocked me. Between this one and the Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus steel cage match, pure chaos, yet organized chaos, and it kept me entertained from beginning to end. The Pittsburgh Steel City Street Fight for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship, where we saw the Judgment Day coming out victorious, defeating Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, taking their championships via pinfall, gets 4 stars. There's really nothing else they could have done to make this match any better than what it was. I mean, you had terrible towels come out. They were in Pittsburgh, of course. You had all that. I mean, everything. It was so much this was just a gumbo match. Gumbo with every little something, everything in it, you know. I don't even know how to talk right now. I'm so excited about that, talking about that match. It was one of the best tag team matches I've seen in a long while, as far as a street fight format is concerned. So, yeah, great match. This match was 20 minutes and 45 seconds long, and once again, they could have went another 20 minutes, and I would have been equally as excited. We move on to a segment this time, and this was the Grayson Waller effect. We see Grayson Waller have his quote-unquote talk show, and his special guest was none other than the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, in a segment that was to basically announce that Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso, is signed to Raw. And This stems from a couple of weeks ago when Jey Uso confronted his brother Jimmy and uh, quit the bloodline and quit WWE, which nobody believed. At least I didn't. I knew he was going to pop up eventually, but now he's by himself on Raw, where the rest of the bloodline is on SmackDown. But that was the main purpose of this segment, and you know, kudos. I don't know why Cody Rhodes had to announce it, or I don't know why it had to be on the Grayson Waller effect to announce this to make a big deal out of it. Uh, it's not leading up to anything that I can think of, so I don't know the purpose of that. But hey, kudos to Jey Uso. He got the rub. He's his own man now. This is his show now. Now is truly a test to prove if he can stand on his own, if he can truly be his own champion, his own guy. You know, not so much a champion, but hold it down by himself. So it's a good test test him out to see if he is the heir apparent to a Roman Reigns. You know, can he handle it by himself? Will he challenge the winner of the World Heavyweight Championship match and win that title and possibly go up against Roman Reigns again down the line and unify those championships so Roman Reigns can have 15 belts to carry around? I don't know. We shall see. But there's nothing to rank on this. It was just a segment. But moving on to our Women's World Championship match, which consisted of the champion Rhea Ripley with Dirty Dominic Mysterio on her side versus Raquel Rodriguez for said Women's World Championship. And to kind of touch in what I said earlier about this match being kind of worthy of a WrestleMania, SummerSlam type match, not really. Not really. This match, this match went on way too long because it really shined the light on Raquel's flaws. You know, it really showed that Raquel Rodriguez is maybe not ready for prime time. I mean, she wasn't horrible, but it was some real shaky moments in there. It was a few botches by her. It looked like her and Raquel, Raquel and Rhea really didn't have much chemistry in the ring. They didn't really work on anything. It was all right at points throughout the match where they were kind of trading blows, but the match would kind of stop, and they were, I don't know, have stare downs in the middle of the match after big moves, and it's like, let's move this along. This match was 17 minutes long, and they could have easily shaved this into a 10-minute match, and if not shorter than that, it would have been much better. But it was what it was. Dominic came out and interfered in a match that he really didn't need to interfere in. This match was all Ripley, man. At no point did I think Raquel was gonna win. At no point. So that's bad on her part. Hopefully she can bounce back from this because I'm a fan of hers. I really like Raquel Rodriguez. I loved her in NXT, and she's been kind of dominant, and she needs to have that dominant push as just this force of nature on the roster, and she hasn't gotten that push. And so I'm hoping that maybe she can regroup after this. WWE Creative can regroup after this and kind of repackage her maybe and make her more of a dominant presence on the roster. But as far as this match is concerned, this is a step back for her. The Women's World Championship match between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez, where we saw Rhea Ripley retain her championship, gets 3 stars. It was all right. It was average. It wasn't a horrible match. Uh but it wasn't what I was hoping it would. Unlike the other matches, I actually had some semblance of anticipation for it, and it was kind of a letdown. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Moving on to our main event of the evening for the World Heavyweight Championship, where our champion, Seth freaking Rollins, puts his title on the line against Shinsuke Nakamura. And once again, Shinsuke Nakamura is a wrestler who I felt should have been pushed to the moon. You know, going back to his time in New Japan and coming over here in NXT, he was great on NXT. And once he got to the main roster, it's been fairly lackluster. He hasn't really done anything of note. You know, he won the Royal Rumble his first go around. Him and AJ Styles fought at WrestleMania that year. I was in attendance at that match, and it was, to see it live was even worse. It was not a good match, and these two of note have history, and it wasn't a good match. That's when he turned heel, and it really went downhill from there. But I like this turn. I say all that to say this: I like this turn here. The lead up to this championship match against Seth Rollins. Shinsuke looked like that dominant force that he was in NXT with a heel twist to it. It's so super excited for this match. This was the one match that I was really pumped up for on his entire card. And we got a decent match. It wasn't a barn burner. It wasn't a career defining match. You know, I didn't step away from this match thinking, oh man, I would love to see Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura go at it again. You know, nothing of that sort. It was just a match. You know, I think overall, this entire card, it just felt like an episode of Monday Night Raw to me. It didn't wow me. You know, as premium live events should be. You know, it should be something different, but nothing different here. This was just regular matches. I think with the exception of 2, but nothing out of this main event to really cap off the evening that excited me. So this was an all right match between these two superstars. I've said it countless times. Seth freaking Rollins is one of the best workers in the business, and Shinsuke Nakamura is one of the best wrestlers in the world. So, you know, I thought it was going to be a little more to it, but it wasn't. It was a decent match. Decent. You know, it was, that's all I can. That's the only way I can describe it. You know, they set up the back issue with Seth Rollins, and Shinsuke worked the back for a while and made it interesting. But aside from that, it is what it is. Our main event for the World Heavyweight Championship, where we saw Seth freaking Rollins retain the championship by defeating Shinsuke Nakamura with a curb stomp, and the 1, 2, 3 gets 3 stars. It was decent. And as I was saying earlier, I was going on a rant. This night was all right. This was an all right premium live event. Not one of their best outings, you know. The 2 best matches of the night was the steel cage match and the tag team championship match. Those were the 2 best matches. And out of those matches, I would probably give it to the the street fight. I'll give it to the tag team championship match. I think that was the best match of the night. All the rest of them, they were Raw matches or SmackDown matches in comparisons, with the exception of course, Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. But the other four matches were whatever. Yeah, this was kind of a letdown pay-per-view. If you was looking forward to it, if you was kind of just watching it out of loyalty, it was just whatever, something to get through Saturday night. But other than that, this didn't set the world on fire, and sadly, it kind of gives me a little pause because you only had two gimmick matches, and I say gimmick. You had the steel cage match, and you had the Pittsburgh Steel City street fight match. Those were the two best matches. The rest of the matches were just singles matches, and those were bad. But the best matches were the gimmick matches, and you don't want that. You really don't want that. I would love to have seen one of these singles match burn down the house, but it didn't. It was just regular. So yeah, it was a little disappointing in the sense of premium live event status, But I would like to know what you thought. Did you enjoy it? I mean, I wasn't mad at the pay-per-view. I didn't feel like I wasted my time, but at the same time, I felt I wish I would have got some more. A little more excitement, maybe a couple of surprises or something like that. But I understand it's Payback. It's not WrestleMania. It's not Royal Rumble or SummerSlam or Survivor Series. It's Payback. So it's to be expected, but it is what it is. But anyway, what do you think? What was your favorite match of the night? Out of the 6 matches here, are you excited to see Jey Uso back? I would love to know your thoughts. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. Also, you can hit me up on all social media platforms. Just look up the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to Faces and Heels here on the KB Radio Network. Don't forget about YouTube as well. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and give this video a like if you don't mind. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this recap of WWE Premium Live Event Payback. Can't wait to speak to you next month when we get No Mercy. That's the next Premium Live Event next month. So can't wait to speak to you then. Until then, everybody, y'all be good and y'all be blessed.